Coach, you said yourself struggled this season, but what are some lessons that could be learned?
You know what? There were so many of them. This year was a little different than the year before, and my first year. I thought that this was going to be my best year so far as a coach, and it turned out to be one of the most challenging years. And you know, we had so many different players throughout the year, and a lot of veterans. They kind of took away the fun of teaching and coaching because they think that they know it all. You know, they play in the NBA and they play against me, or we were teammates, and it was just a little different. They saw me more as a player than a coach, which hasn't happened to me before. But you know, at the same time, I managed to kind of keep everybody engaged and motivated, and we didn't get the results that we wanted. We didn't accomplish the goals that we wanted, but it was definitely a learning experience for everybody, and you know, I'm obviously grateful for it.
Learning experience, your words there. What's the learning experience as our team's GM as well that came about from this season?
Well, obviously, being involved as a GM and with the personnel and trying to get guys that fits our style of basketball is kind of a cool thing. But it's really hard, you know, we can go get the best talent out there, but doesn't necessarily has the best attitude or the best behavior, and we struggle a little bit with that this year. Or, you know, work ethic. That was one of the other things. But, you know, I learned a lot in that area. And as a coach, you know, I find myself sort of coaching more egos than X's and O's. And I think it's part of the learning process, because at the end of the day, you know, the NBA level, I know that's what it's all about, because everybody's pretty smart, the players. And you know, player development is not as key as it is in the D League, but managing attitudes, behaviors, and egos is a key in the NBA. So I think that this year got me ready for that next step, for sure.
Definitely want to touch on next steps here in a moment, but before we get past that, you've addressed things as our head coach. You've addressed things as our general manager. You're also a member of our ownership group. What came about this season, either lessons learned, successes, failures, from the ownership perspective?
Well, you know, as a part owner, I mean, obviously, I'm actually really thankful that the group got me involved with it. It's been a great learning experience, you know, in that area. I've seen all the things that you don't normally see as a coach or as a player or as a GM, and it's the business side. And since I kind of joined, I've seen the growth. I've seen how well the team has done. I've seen how well we've done with our brand throughout the Metroplex. And you know, I've seen the support from many corporations, and obviously all of our fans, which is an amazing feeling. And you know, I'm gonna piggyback on what Donnie says, and the way Donnie Nelson sees our team is kind of a sanctuary, and it's a great place to kind of touch many lives. And now, as a result of being an owner, GM, and a coach, I got to know many people in this area, beautiful people that now I'm going to consider friends for the rest of my life.
That's great. And you know, you said you had a chance to touch a lot of people. Well, a lot of people still don't know we're here. So what would you say to someone who's never been to a Legends game and isn't familiar with our brand?
Well, obviously our environment is an amazing environment, very family oriented, with a great basketball level per se, and I really, every time that I go around, obviously they still remember me for my Mavericks days, but I try to kind of put the Texas Legends out there, because at the end of the day, they make us who we are. And what I usually tell them is how much fun it is, and how we sort of bring legends that play here in the city of Dallas, and also coaches that they have been around, and you know, we're known for that, and I think that people kind of relate to us, and you know, they still want to support us. So I keep telling them about the beautiful environment, and how the basketball game is at a high level, and we usually get great players, and it's going to end up a great time for their kids and for the parents as well.
Let's touch on some of that NBA talent that's here in Frisco with our Legends organization. Nancy Lieberman, Del Harris, Spud Webb, on your coaching staff, Ghana Diop, Nick Van Exel. What lessons can be applied from these tremendous basketball careers on the court and kind of carried over as a coach?
Well, I've learned a lot from Dale Harris and obviously Nancy Lieberman. They've been coaching for so many years, and you know, I was with Dale for so many years as well as a player. I played for him, and I gave him my heart. He's my Wikipedia of basketball. That's what I call him. You know, every time that I need something, you know, he's gonna send me about 1,000 pages. Let me rephrase that. He's gonna send me a book that is about 1,000 pages, and he's gonna have all the information, and you know, he's gonna help me with my career. Nancy, just being there. I mean, I talk to her pretty often, and she's a great coach. She's got a great mind, and she's constantly helping me, and I'm just thankful that they're here with the organization. And then, you know, Nick came in, and you know, we were teammates, and I thought it was a great opportunity. I thought it was going to be a cool thing to do. He's obviously a coach at the NBA level, and he's got a great basketball IQ, and I've learned a lot from him. And you know, Ghana is kind of like me. When I took over, he didn't know what to expect, and he was a little surprised about the whole experience. And I think that he's got excited and he's motivated to continue with his career, and hopefully we'll keep him around.
Describe your coaching style.
You know, the mistakes that I've made is that you know, I always wanted to coach the same way as I was as a player. You know, defensive minded. You know, I was gonna try to kind of get my own coaching philosophy, which I've learned from so many different coaches. But once you step into the job, you obviously have a sense of urgency of, okay, what am I going to do offensively? And every time that there's something goes wrong, you think about changing your offensive philosophy rather than your defensive philosophy, and that's where I think I failed. I think that I emphasized more offense. Obviously, I was a little nervous coming in as a rookie coach, and you want to look smart. You want to make sure that you put players in the right positions on the floor, that you tend to forget about defense. And every year I said, okay, I'm going to emphasize defense. I'm going to hit it really hard. And then slowly I start gravitating towards offense and X and O's, and I start forgetting. And I keep making that mistake. This year, you know, I finally had it. I was like, you know what? I'm only going to do 2 plays, and all I'm going to do is emphasize defense. And I'm talking about for next year, of course. But I think that I'm changing now my perspective. I'm kind of changing my philosophy. I'm changing my style of basketball, style of coach. However you say that. But I think that I'm going to do things differently from this point forward, and hopefully that will get me over the hump, because we're right there, close to making the playoffs. We definitely got the talent, but you know, there's something that is kind of preventing me from getting over the hump, and I think it's our defense.
Coach, you gave me a wonderful opportunity your first year as our head coach to sit on the bench as one of your assistants. We now work together, you as the GM, myself as your assistant GM. We meet, we talk, we share frustrations. Sometimes we argue, sometimes we get along great. But at the kind of underscoring all of that, you seem to really enjoy this. What's the most enjoyable part of this job for you?
Well, you know, I'm really passionate about this. Obviously, it's given me everything that I got. Mm-hmm. You know, it led me to a wonderful family, wonderful families, I should say. And, you know, you can see it. I'm so passionate about it. And, you know, I understand about failure, and I understand that I'm going to fail for the most part, but I think that's what leads you to success. Mm-hmm. So I'm making all the mistakes in the world as a coach. I did it as a player, and the one thing that you see is that I'm passionate about it, and I'm going to continue to get better and work at it and work at it and work at it until I master this. And I'm, you know, hoping that one day not only become one of the greatest coaches, like Nancy Lieberman, like Dale Harris, like some of the other guys that I learned from, but also, like we talked about, touch many different lives, in a positive way where you can make a difference and hopefully motivate them through the sport of basketball.
That's a beautiful thing, Coach. And also, I think further illustrates a lot of what it took for you to get stateside, being able to play Division I college basketball coming out of Mexico. If you don't mind, familiarize our audience out there with your story, starting in Chihuahua, winding up in Norman, Oklahoma.
It's a long story. Obviously, when I was 14, I grew up 6 inches in one summer, and literally living in Mexico, in Chihuahua, Mexico, at 6'7" and a half. Everybody leaves me at 6'8", but it was not easy. It was not easy, but basketball came across. I was a baseball player. I loved baseball. My dad was a baseball player as well, and I kind of wanted to follow his footsteps. Mom obviously emphasized education was the most important thing, and she obviously helped me understand that I need to not only get better as an athlete, but also as a student and professional. So when I came across, I came across to look for a degree. I came across to actually learn a different language. I didn't come across with the MBA in mind. Now it kind of gave, one thing led to another one, and all of a sudden, I woke up of this dream, and I was like so close to accomplish something that is very hard to do. So obviously, I had many people that helped me throughout my career, but once I made that decision, which is not easy to leave my country, going to San Antonio, Texas, for high school, by myself, it was the biggest obstacle in my career. But once I got there and I kind of got familiar with the culture, with the language, with the people around me, I felt comfortable enough that then I started dreaming about the NBA. So had a great high school year, and then Kelvin Sampson came across. He was the head coach at the University of Oklahoma. I was being recruited by everybody, all the schools around the country, but there was something about Kelvin that kind of intrigued me, and I think it was his passion. And I think that I learned most of my basketball from him, because he's the one that kind of took me as a boy and kind of created a man out of it, and I still carry a lot of his personality and his attitude and his passion, the way he was, towards basketball and towards his players. So I learned a lot from him, and he's the one that gave me that great opportunity. University of Oklahoma, had wonderful career at OU, and but reality is, as soon as I came to Dallas, I fell in love with the city, and I kind of saw the whole metroplex kind of grow, and I was a part of a great organization with the Mavericks, and I was just fortunate enough that I ended up staying in this city, and they ended up kind of adopting me as well. So at the end of the day, long career and many obstacles, but I'm right where I'm supposed to be, and I'm enjoying this place, and it's the reason that I haven't left. I mean, I got some offers from other NBA teams, and I want to stick around here, and kind of see what the future brings.
You mentioned the culture in Mexico. Baseball, soccer tend to be the dominant sports. What's the current state of the basketball culture in Mexico?
Oh, it is Chihuahua, that's for sure. We got there's four NBA players out of Mexico. Actually, there's 4 players that have played in the NBA out of Mexico. 2 of us are from Chihuahua. Okay. Myself and Jorge Gutierrez. And basketball has been the main sport in our state. We actually had not only us, but all the great players that had success with the sport of basketball, and still, the reason we have this partnership with the state of Chihuahua is because when I sat down and I spoke to the governor, he wanted to bring that tradition back, because it kind of faded away for a minute, and his goal is to actually bring basketball and that tradition back to the way it used to be. And also, he understands that that kids, boys, girls, they need to start practicing sports a little more, and is a key to to overcome any addiction, any bad thing out there on the street. So I think it's a great partnership, and I love the fact that Chihuahua is the best basketball state, and now they're actually getting involved with us, and they're trying to promote basketball back the way it used to be.
You mentioned it briefly, and I can see, based on your response, there's a great deal of pride to be able to promote Chihuahua. What does it mean to be able to have that Chihuahua logo on the uniform here at home, as well as at center court?
Well, it was a dream come true. Obviously, I did it. I represented my state and my country as a player. So when you're about to retire, you kind of start having some flashbacks. Okay, what's going to happen? You start kind of doubting yourself. You start kind of fear kind of comes in, and you don't know what you're going to do. And you're used to this sort of style or lifestyle, and you think it's going to go away. And everybody thinks that you're just going to retire somewhere on the beach, and that's not the way it works. I mean, this opportunity came along, and that was my main objective, to keep representing my state. And when we got this partnership done, it kind of took that dream to a different level, because not only I'm representing myself like I used to, but now we got their support, and they now understand the importance of putting our brand, Chihuahua brand, out in the U.S. and kind of cleaning up the image that we created the last few years. And I think we're doing a great job, and I'm proud of that, because at the end of the day, we have a beautiful state, beautiful places to go visit, and nobody knows about us. So hopefully this investment that they made with the Texas Legends, it kind of gives something back to them, because we do need our fellow fans to come and see our state and our cities, because they're beautiful.
How do we grow the game? You said it's coming back in Chihuahua, it's spreading throughout Mexico, but what is it going to take to really push down on that accelerator and get them back to where players like yourself, you mentioned Jorge Gutierrez, a great young point guard, Gustavo Ayón, 27 I believe right now, and certainly an NBA caliber player. What's the next generation going to look like, and how are we going to get there?
Well, you just said it, you got to go back to the grassroots. That generation is coming in, they're going to be stronger, they're going to be faster, they're going to be bigger than we were. That's just the way it is now, not these days. So I think we got to take advantage of that, and the way I see it and the way I can help is just by simply taking Dale Harris, Nancy Lieberman, Nick Van Exel being in Chihuahua, all these NBA, Ghana Diab came down, and they everybody knows them, because they follow the NBA, of course. So now we got to bring more guys, more coaches, and just try to motivate the kids, because at the end of the day, they're going to become the future. And if we get to them and we make them understand that the NBA is not, like going to the moon. I mean, it's that close, and all it takes is values, fundamentals, and if you follow those particular things that you learn, you can actually get there. So you just gotta motivate them, and I think that we're doing it the right way, and hopefully we get some great coaches this summer to do some coaches clinics with myself included, and hopefully they'll follow too.
Let's concentrate now here at home in Frisco. And similar question, how do the Legends grow and develop and get better moving into next season?
Well, obviously we already have a fan base, and we have to pay attention to them. Obviously they're a big part of our success, and we're still trying to tweak different things. We listen to them. I think that's the main thing. We gotta please them, because at the end of the day, there wouldn't be any of us without them. And we know the importance of that. Obviously, adding more to the fan base is key. And I think that the same way, you just got to be out there all over the Metroplex, reaching out to different schools, hospitals, obviously doing our basketball camps and all that. So the people starts recognizing our brand, and they already recognize the Mavericks, right? So I think that we just kind of have to follow up their footsteps, which they do a great job of promoting not only the players but the brand, the Mavericks brand. So we have to do the same thing as legends, and hopefully all the people in the Metroplex follows.
Coach, when we're talking about growing the brand locally, how does the league get better? The NBA Development League is still a relatively unknown commodity to the surface level basketball fan. How do we become a better league? What do you see in terms of that type of development?
Well, it's already gotten so much better. There's more talent. There's better games now. I mean, our last game was an amazing experience. For the fans. I mean, it was a close game. It was back and forth. You didn't see as many games where you blow out teams like you did in my first year. It's becoming more of an NBA type of game, and I think it's because of the league. It's gotten involved. The NBA now is seeing the importance of player development. Is seeing the importance of finding those rough diamonds. I don't know how you say that cliche, but the NBA is aware of that because of the new collective bargaining. So they actually looking at the D League more often than not, and I think just by the NBA getting involved, it's getting so much better. We still have to make so many adjustments. Obviously, we always talk about the officials, how they are. We all have to get better, and because they're a big part of our game, and sometimes even the fans can see how bad they are. But throughout, everybody has to get better, and I'm sure the league is committed to continue to grow, and I'm sure they're going to expand, and I'm sure they're going to make so many changes, even to the rules of the game. They took away timeouts. I actually want them to, bring back the old rule and the true NBA rule rather than experiment with that. They got to take away the challenge that takes like 5 minutes. Everybody gets kind of cold and stiff, but anyways, they're working on it, and hopefully we just grow with the league and we get better.
Coach, I'm going to put the spotlight on you now, and you alluded to some of it. Eddie Najera in 6 months is doing what?
6 months, what am I doing? I'm going to spend a lot of time with my kids, that's for sure. But in 6 months, I'm definitely going to be traveling a lot. I'm still up in the air, but last year I had a great experience going to Summer League with the Dallas Mavericks, and I'm sure that this year, if I'm allowed, I'm going to be there. So I see myself coaching still, and hopefully now I'm going to have my own basketball camps, and I'll be in Chihuahua also promoting basketball and the Texas Legends, and that's how I see myself spending the time.
So that time is spent, you enjoy traveling, you get to see your kids grow and blossom, beautiful kids, by the way. You're coaching with the Mavericks, ideally, NBA Summer League. Now, what are we doing in October? Ideally. I told you the spotlight's going to be put on you here.
In October, I'm getting ready for the season. I don't know which season.
There it is.
But I'll that's something down the road, and you're right. I have 3 beautiful kids, and I have a family here, so I have to take them into consideration. So I see myself here for the most part.
That's great. Coach, we're going to wrap up, but in conclusion, what message do you have to the Legends fans, fans of the D League, your fans in Mexico? Just put a little bow on it for me.
Actually, it's not really a message. I just want to say thank you for all your support. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you finish up strong this season and also next season. So I appreciate it.
Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank you.